Hey, go Chiefs! Go Chiefs! How about that? Going to the Super Bowl. I'm a big Chiefs fan. You know, the last time we were in the Super Bowl, just to show you how old I am, I was in my 20s. That was a long time ago, believe me. Welcome to this week's Fishing Chums Fishing Report and Show. We have a good show for you. Just a little bit of a tease. We have a photo, the photo of the week coming up out of Bull Shoals. Just the other day, a 14-pound, 4-ounce walleye was caught, and I had this picture coming your way. Wow, this will get your fishing fever up, that's for sure. Have a good show because we have good reports from out at Pomme de Terre. They're still catching crappie out there. Stockton's not too bad. Good report on some bass fishing out at Table Rock and Fair out at Bull Shoals, and a few stripers being caught out at Beaver. Hey, I tell you what, I want to thank all the viewers. This past week, it was cold, not many people out, but we still had near 8,000 views. The week before, we had over 14,000 views. Thank you. God bless all of you, and you people keep sharing and bringing those new members into Fishing Chums. Well, we're going to be talking about that big walleye caught out at Bull Shoals, and we have a couple other good surprises. At the end of the program, be sure to stay tuned, watch us clear through because we have some great photos on our photo run at the end of the program. So I'm all excited. Let's go fishing.
Fish and Chums!
Thank you for the coffee, Carla. Wow, coffee in a fireplace on a cold day, can't hardly beat it. And if we're not able to go fishing, what's the next best thing? Let's talk about fishing, that's for sure. Okay, I want to start the program off. I have my buddy, my companion, my partner, Brandon, just turned 17 the other day. And I want to show this photo. I've showed it before here on the program. But when I met Brandon, his father's an entertainer in Branson. Brandon loved to fish. He's from New York City, and he gets to spend the summers down here in God's country. And he loved to fish, but he really didn't have anybody to take him fishing. So his dad, we got together and said, can you take Brandon out fishing? This is a great story now. So I met Brandon and his dad out at Moonshine Beach at the boat ramp. And it was August, the first part of August. And we put the boat in and we eased out. Brandon and I went out. And I'd been catching some spotted bass out off this one point. And I thought, well, he hasn't really caught any fish. Getting a night crawler down and he'll catch some spots. And that would be fun for him to get started with. I knew he wasn't used to fishing with lures, so I thought a night crawler would do the ticket. Now listen to the story. So we get out and I'm cruising the area where I've been catching a few fish. And I'm looking at the thermocline and I see a few fish and there's a big submerged tree right there. And so I thought, well, okay, Brandon, I'm going to put your bait down there around 30 feet of water. Now get this, I'm having him use a crappie rod with 4-pound test, a small rod. And so I get that line, I get it down and I can see it with my locator that it's right around the thermocline. So I just hold it still, Brandon, just hold it still and then just kind of move it once in a while. Before I got up to the front of the boat to pick my rod and reel up, I hear this grunt. I look back and Brandon's rod is bent into the water and he's holding on for dear life. And I thought, oh my gosh, he must have a 3 or 4 pound bass on. So I run back to coach him. I raised the motor up because he was standing in the back of the boat. And that zip, 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 boy, the drag was singing. And I thought, man, he's got a pretty good fish here. And so I'm coaching him, you know, because he was excited when he first hooked the fish. He's just reeling as fast as he could. And I said, Brandon, no. When he goes, just let him go. And then I even had him backpedal a little bit. He did a great job. And so we're getting this fish up, and I'm looking down there, and there's a monster walleye. And I get the net out, and I go down to net him. I missed him. And I thought, oh, Lord, don't let me miss this fish. Don't let me lose this fish for Brandon. It's a fish of a lifetime. So he brought it up one more time. I scooped him up. A 13-pound, 3-ounce walleye. Wow. what a treat for a young man to catch a fish that big. It's actually a fish of a lifetime, and it's mounted now out at his dad's place on Table Rock. What a beautiful fish. What a great story. Well, Brandon and I started Fishing Chums going on, 3 years ago, and I know we started off with just a few viewers, and it has just, this past year, just went crazy, and we want to thank all of our viewers. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, we had over 14,000 views. This last week, we've had around 8,000. And gosh, we want to thank all you viewers. And keep sharing and sharing with your friends. That's what this is all about, because we have a lot of fun here on Fishing Chums. And happy birthday once again to Brandon. He and I have fished all the Ozark lakes. We've fished catfished out at Truman. We fished Stockton. We fished Palm de Terre, Bull Shoals, Table Rock, and had some great fishing adventures over the last few years. Gosh, Taneycomo. Remember all those trout we used to catch? We will catch on Taneycomo, Brandon. Happy birthday, my partner. We have adopted each other. He really didn't have a grandfather, so I'm his adopted grandpa, and he's my adopted grandson. God, I couldn't love you any better, my friend. Okay, let's go to the nice coffee. Let's go to the fishing reports. Let's go out to Beaver Lake. The water temperature out there is between 45 and 47 degrees. And they've been picking up some stripers out there the last few days for the diehard who's been fishing. And they've been picking up stripers in the Prairie Creek area and the Big Hickory area. And live bait, live shiner seems to be the ticket out there. A few crappie have been caught at Beaver for the diehards going out in about 15, 20, maybe 25 feet of water, jigs, 16th ounce, maybe a chartreuse tipped with a minnow. Below the dam, they've been releasing some water, and boy, the trout fishing's been very good the last few days. And also, they've been picking up a few nice walleye below the dam at Beaver Lake. So check this out for the upcoming weekend. All right, let's go out to Table Rock Lake. Water temperature is between 45 and 46 degrees. Fishing has been fair out there for the few people who've been fishing. Now, you want to get out on those long gravel points, get out in deep water and try a little spoon fishing. Use that ice spoons, just regular spoons. White seems to be good. And also, they've been picking up some fish on grubs as well. You find those big schools of shad, find some streaks, might get into them. Then about the mouth of the creek, about halfway back, also use your electronics and do a little of the same type of fishing. Find those big schools of shad. They've been picking up some fish also on A-rigs, and they've been doing a little drop shotting out there on the deep water as well. And jerk bait fishing starting to come on. So we've been talking about this the last week or two. Don't overlook the jerk bait. So jigs, pitch some jigs, drag some jigs as well at Table Rock. You know, Taneycomo, the water temperature was 47 degrees out there. They're releasing a lot of water. And as I mentioned on last week's program, boy, when they're releasing a lot of water, take a couple 5-gallon buckets, plastic buckets, tie with a little leader, a little line, put one on the bow of the boat, the back end of the boat, and that will really slow your drift down. And then they're pitching all kinds of baits out there. Live bait's been good. Live minnows are night crawlers. We've even had reports of shrimp. There's a good shrimp bite. Yes, you get some shrimp at the grocery store, go out. And I understand there's been a lot of brown trout caught this week as well. Some people have been using some jerk baits. Good bite has been going on anywhere from Cooper Creek, Monkey Island's good, all the way back to the landing. And for the people who's bundling up, they've caught some really nice trout this past week. All right, let's go out to the photo of the week. Travis Barton, my golly, look at this fish, folks. This photo of the week. 14 pounds, 4 ounce walleye. This was just caught a few days ago on a swim bait at the upper end of Bull Shoals. Now, Travis is my kind of fisherman. He gets out. He don't care if it's sleeting, icing, snow, rain, no matter what. He gets out there with those either jerk baits or swim baits, and he fishes hard. But boy, look at his rewards. That's a trophy walleye. This was caught just a few days ago. Now, I was texting him last night before we did the show. We're doing the show on Thursday ahead of the Friday release, and he caught a couple of nice walleye yesterday as well. So the big walleye run's going to be starting at Bull Shoals, usually in February, the spawn. And below the dam, at the pothole, below the dam at Forsyth, there where Taneycomo drops into Bull Shoals, this is a good area to fish. Swim baits, jerk baits, jigs, and so that's going to be coming up. So this just shows you what quality fish can be caught at Bull Shoals. I know the biggest one I know of actually was a few years ago, a 19-pound walleye was caught in this area. That is a giant. And you know, there's some good points and flats all the way back down Bull Shoals, and you can really catch some nice walleye starting in February. But hey, I can't argue. You might want to get out there now. Travis caught that 14-pounder. Other than that, the bass fishing has been fair out at Bull Shoals. Not too many fish in the last few days, but watch for the seagulls, watch for the loons. They'll take you right to the shad at times. Other than that, get off the points and secondary points with your electronics in deep water. Get out there with your spoons, your ice spoons, also some grubs, and about halfway back into the creek arms as well. Ease back and forth using your electronics. You might find big schools of shad back there in the creek areas about halfway, and you can use your ice spoons and grubs as well. Out on the main lake, you catch an overcast, windy day. Try the points and secondary points with your crankbaits, wiggle warts, and they've been using some jigs out there as well. Congratulations to Travis. Man, what a big old fish, 14-pound walleye. Ooh, gets my fever up, that's for sure. Let's go out to Stockton Lake. The water temperature is 41 or 42 degrees. Crappie have been caught out there this week. I know the Tandem Fly Guide Service, they always get their people in to fish. They've been catching fish the last few days, and they're using either 1/8 ounce or 16th ounce. Ice blue seems to be a great color, and they're in the brush piles. If you stick with it, if you get tough, you can catch some crappie out there without a doubt. Few walleye are being caught out in the points and secondary points. Jerk baits, you know, boy, Stockton's a good jerk bait fishing starting about now, get into February on the dam on the points and secondary points. Also, they've been dragging some jig and night crawlers, or horseheaded night crawlers, picking up a walleye as well. Been picking up a few bass out there. Been picking up some nice bass on A-rigs, and they've been pitching some jigs and wiggle warts as well. Jerk baits, try that jerk bait for some bass fishing. Out at Pomme de Terre, that water temperature is 41 to 42 degrees. A little bit of ice in some of the area lakes, so getting out this weekend, watch for this, but it shouldn't be too bad. And they've been picking up some fish, like the winter pattern the last few weeks, over the brush piles and the submerged standing timber. You may find them in 35, 40 feet of water. They may be down around 15 to 18 feet. Experiment on your depth. Chartreuse is a good jig color out there. Maybe you want to tip it with a minnow. And they've been picking up a few bass out there this week as well on the A-rig and crankbaits. You never know. Okay, let's go out to Truman. The water temperature was 37, 38 degrees. That's cool. They've had some rain. The lake's up. It's a little dingy. Some of the people are finding a little off-colored water getting up there in the mouth of the creeks and finding crappie in 8 to 10 feet of water, jigs and minnows, put a little color on those jigs. And they've been picking up. The catfishing has slowed down a little bit. My buddy Jordan Lear, look at this photo. He was out last weekend. Look at this giant cat, blue cat that he caught. Jordan's a great guy, great kid. And if you ever want a guided fishing trip, I like to throw this in because he's a good friend and he's a great, I've fished with him and he really takes care of his people. He provides everything, all the rod and reels, all the bait. He's got a great boat. He has a great boat and he takes care of you. If you ever want a guided fishing trip, get a hold of Jordan Lear. He might put one of those big old cats. I know he will. You'll have a chance of catching a catfish of a lifetime. Okay, let's see. Let's go out to Lake the Ozarks. The water temperature is 46 degrees out there this morning. And they're catching some crappie. Not many people fishing. They've been shooting the docks with 32nd ounce jigs, picking up some fish on occasion, and over the brush pile in 15 to 25 feet of water, and jigging minnows. And the bass fishing has been fair for the few people fishing on jerk baits and wiggle warts. Try Lake the Ozarks this upcoming weekend. Norfolk, water temperature is 46 degrees this morning. And up in that Twin Bridges area, anywhere from 80 to 120 feet of water. They've been cruising with their electronics and finding schools of stripers. Now, these stripers may be down 50 to 60 feet of water. You'll know it when you get into them. You'll see the streaks and get down there with a big old heavy, like a half-ounce spoon maybe, and you could hook onto a big striper in that Twin Bridges area. Crappie fishing continues to be good for the few people crappie fishing. Get back about halfway back into the creek arms and get down around 20, 25, 30, 35 feet of water. Get around that brush. And when you do get into them with a jig or jig and minnow, boy, they can be really, really nice crappie at Lake of the Ozarks. Well, we want to thank you very much once again for being with us here on Fishing Chums. Be sure to like and share and subscribe for you people over on YouTube. Just hit that button there. And once you subscribe, you'll be notified of all the upcoming shows. And if you'd like to send us any information or any photos, go to our email address. That's fishingchums@gmail.com. And by the way, the next couple of weeks we're going to start drawing out. I'm getting a lot of questions right now. This time of the year, people are thinking about getting out fishing. They're sending questions in. So what we're going to do on the program, we're going to put them in a big box, and I'm going to draw out 2 or 3 at the end of the program every week and answer your questions right here on Fishing Chums. And of course, if you have any photos to send us, be sure to use our email or go to our Facebook and get into our group area. We have a wonderful groups, and send us your information on this as well. Okay, that's it. We've had some good photos coming your way. Hey, here before long, another week. Super Bowl, go Chiefs. Love y'all. Happy outdoors. Let's get out and get bit this weekend. Roll those photos.